Republican midterm prospects brighten in closing weeks of election. This is like the moment when they are explicitly talking about crime and immigration, which I believe are vehicles to talk about to fearmonger effectively around Black and brown people.
Definitely. But it works, though. It works. You know, I remember talking to friends of mine, and they were saying, you know, I live in New York, and they were in L.A., and I said, oh, I'm going to be there for a show. And they said, oh, whatever you do, be careful. The crime has really skyrocketed. I said, oh, like where, how much crime? What are you talking about? And they said, I don't know. I've just seen some things. And it really fascinated me because it made me realize maybe I've been working in an environment for so long where I have a team of fact checkers. I have people who can get the numbers. But most people don't live like that. Most of the time we watch something online, we see a video, a friend tells us something, it's in a WhatsApp group, it's in an iMessage, and you don't question it. Why would you question it?
Yeah.
Crime is going up, so it feels like crime is going up. And then anytime you see something that reinforces that idea, you will believe it. The irony, in fact, in life, I've realized in America, is that the same image can have a completely different connotation depending on how people want that image to be used.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you'll see people being arrested, and there'll be some politicians who say, see, things are getting better and crime is going down. Look, everything's getting better. These people are being arrested. And they could use that same image to say, well, look how many criminals are out there. But it's the same image. It's just how you tell the story completely changes depending on what you're trying to do.
Well, I mean, it feels like we have lost the common narrative, too, right?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, there's
gone.
just also alternative facts. I wonder when we talk about this midterm race and we talk about race, I always go back to the Georgia race, because there you have two Black men running for a Senate seat, Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. And I wonder what you make of the Herschel Walker candidacy in the context of these kind of explicitly racist calls that Republicans are making. They can get behind that Black man down in Georgia. Do you think that's simply because he's the Republican candidate, or because there's another element to his candidacy that makes white Republicans feel good about supporting Herschel?
No, I think we're moving to a place where politics is now becoming the new religion of America. You know, it's becoming the defining factor. When people meet you, that's the first thing they say now. Oh, you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. This is how I vote. I don't know if you remember, there was a time when people didn't talk about that. They say your vote is your secret. Well, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about that at the table. We don't talk about voting. People just voted and then they lived their lives. But now people live to talk about how they voted. And I think what it's created is a world where that supersedes everything.
Do you think that's a bad thing or a good thing? Because, I mean,
I think it's terrible.
You think it's terrible,
but at the
same time,
terrifying.
How can the political landscape is so divided?
Yes.
The set of values inherent in each party is so extraordinarily different that it seems almost irreconcilable to ask someone to forget that those are someone else's values. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know, sometimes making heads or tails of the American system requires you to start at one point. You know, have you ever tried to untangle a bunch of cords in your drawer?
Yes.
Like trying to find one charger?
Oh, yes.
And you think you found it, and then it takes you to this charger, and you go to that charger. That's what it feels like sometimes looking at America and what's happening in the country. Because you see it reflected in other parts of the world, but America's system is unique in the conversations that people have and why they have them. And like what you're saying about the polarization is, it's just going to become worse because we don't live in the same world anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we would all meet in one place, whether it was for the news, you know, where people watching, whether it was Walter Cronkite or whoever it was, people would watch the same news and then argue about it. You know, if you were watching even TV shows, you know, the other day, you know, when you saw that Angela Lansbury passed away, and I thought, man, I
Murder,
used to
She
watch
Wrote.
every single episode with my mom in South Africa. That was a family thing. How many shows do we have like that? And not the shows, but how many moments? Everybody's watching their own TV.
Yeah.
Kids are in a different world to their parents. Parents are in a different world to their parents. And so you have this unshared reality that we're all existing in. Everyone's sitting on a train in the subway. Nobody is reading or experiencing the same thing, other than maybe the dancers, but that's about it. But I think what that's done is it's created a hyper-individualistic society where we don't realize that we are not living in the same world. And you can't
There's no
agree on
bridging
anything
it. There's no bridging it.
if you don't agree on the same world. you.